I'm never a person that needs to be motivated. I don't need to be motivated because everything I do has purpose and passion behind it. That's what I truly believe. But I don't need to be motivated to wake up and run. I don't need to be motivated to eat the right meals. I don't need to be motivated to complete all my workouts for the day. I don't. That's just me. It always has been. These next 6 months, a few words to describe it. 1, wild, intense, and exhausting. When I commit to something and I decide I want to do something, it's all in. And it is this feeling of all of this work contributed to this one event. And it feels really, really good to see all this build up, all this work come into this execution. I'm focused from right now to April 24th. And that's all I'm focused on. And I'm so hungry for what's about to happen over these next 6 months. I'm so hungry for it. Ironman Prep, Season 2, Take 1, action. Why an Ironman? You know, last year, I trained for and completed the Ironman in honor of my mother who passed away from cancer months before. I was staging my bike the morning of the race, and I ran into this guy who was following my journey and the story of prepping for the Ironman, and you know, it being in honor of my mom. And just so happened that his mom as well passed away from ovarian cancer. So right before the race started, as we were staging our bikes, he handed me this teal ribbon, which is the color on the ribbon for ovarian cancer. So as I was riding, as I'm sucking on this bike, you know, my first Ironman race, looking down, I would see that every single time. So that was it's one of those things. It's like right before you're about to take off and you've been prepping for something for 6 months and it's that day. It meant a lot. Like, it really meant a lot to get that from that guy. I think one of the things people don't understand about training for an Ironman, it is a long endurance event. It is a 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike ride, and a 26.2 mile run. You don't get better at endurance by training for 30 minutes a day. You can't do the bare minimum to excel at something like an Ironman. You have to put in the work. There's literally no substitution for that work. Sometimes that work is a 1 hour slow run in the morning, and hey, you work the whole day, you have to hop on the bike for an hour. There's no substitution for getting the volume in for training for an event like an Ironman. I didn't understand that until last year, what goes into it. It's a nice little 40-minute, about 12-mile ride tonight is all we're going to be doing. But we're back on Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was my go-to spot last year for Ironman prep. Takes me back. I love it, but I also hate it. I'm not going to lie. Same routes, but once you're here every once in a while, it's just beautiful, man. You got some hill country in Texas, some beautiful sunrises, some beautiful sunsets. So, here we go. Me completing an Ironman triathlon, that is the medium for what I'm trying to accomplish and set a standard for. For me, if I can push the boundaries, if I can push the limits, if I can show pushing and driving harder in everything we do, it sets the baseline standard for the rest of the team to join me and follow. And for me to do this Ironman and do it even better than last year, do it smarter than last year, that is me taking lead, and that everything we do within this company, within the organization, within the people, is leading from the front, and it's pushing that limit. It is pushing that boundary of what we thought was possible. That was a beautiful ride. That is a fall evening in Central Texas on Ronald Reagan, on a sunset, on a road bike. It doesn't get any better than that. It really doesn't. So being back in Ironman prep, it's like literally putting my mind and body right back in the last Ironman prep. Like mentally and physically, it's like I'm back there, you know? And one of my favorite parts about it, one of the best parts, is not only is it physically and mentally challenging, difficult, demanding, but it teaches you and it forces you to maximize every second of your day, every single second. From the time your head leaves the pillow in the morning to the time you lay your head back on the pillow at night, that entire day is packed with training, eating, fueling, planning, working, documenting, family life. Like, there is not a second that isn't accounted for. You have to maximize all of your time during an Ironman prep, especially when juggling and balancing the other aspects of your life. But I know it's going to be intense, I know it's going to be wild, and I know it's going to go fast. It's going to go really fast. My mindset over the last 2 years was going harder is better, which is not necessarily the case in endurance.
Nick, he's going to put out the training and he's going to go, he has a personality to just keep going all day. To get the most out of Nick, I'm definitely going to be pushing the envelope of what is the most training we can get out of him. The other thing is, I think he's going to be so excited, as I mentioned before, that he's just going to want to train probably way more than I'm going to initially allow him to train. And so that's going to be something I have to really keep my eye on, is that he doesn't overdo the training. So I think our biggest obstacle we might have is like slowing him down.
I'm at a point now though where I understand and realize that like going slower will help me go faster in this sport. And working with Natasha, having a coach who I'm talking to in communication on a daily basis helps a lot. It also helps when she sees all my stuff through Training Peaks and she says,
No, just to make sure he stays healthy, he doesn't burn out, and he gets to the starting line as fresh as he should be. As I've gotten to know Nick just in a short period of time, I think his humility that he's brought into the sport, he's so willing to learn and knows that he has so much to learn in this process, that is actually going to be the thing that progresses him to his goals quicker, is because he's so open to doing everything as it should be done.
So I open myself up to experts, to people with experience, to mentors, and say, I want to learn, and I'm ready to soak up every part of this experience. But I know I'm not going to improve by just sticking to myself and doing the things that I know now, because if I do an Ironman next year, it's going to look and feel so much different than it does this year. So I can tell you, this year already feels and looks so much different than it did last year. I think that a lot of people don't do things that they want to do because they're intimidated by the people that are already doing them. I transitioned into the endurance space from powerlifting and bodybuilding about 2 years ago. And I entered this space realizing, hey, this is brand new to me. Like, just because you know one part of fitness, one part of training, doesn't mean you know every part of training. You know, it's one thing to say you're going to do something. Say you're going to change your life, going to do an Ironman, going to run a marathon, going to lose weight, going to put on muscle, going to get your dream job, whatever it is. It's one thing to say you want to do it and that you're going to do it. But very few, and I mean very few, will put pen to paper, meaning planning, and then foot to ground, being action. Very few will take the action, the necessary and required action, to fulfill the necessary obligations that they have to do to get the things that they say they want. Everyone I've ever met that has the things they want in life, that has accomplished the things that they wanted to do in life, has built the things they've wanted to build in life, has done those things, so they've taken massive, immediate, and deliberate action. And that's what I do with everything I do in life. If I want to do something, I'm going to commit and take massive, immediate, deliberate action. I'm going to execute with the most pure, intense, powerful passion and purpose that you'll ever find. And that's what's led me to be able to build this stuff and do these things, is because I don't just sit on it. I don't just wish for it. I fucking do it.
20 more seconds for the second. Come on, push.
I'm going to do this Ironman. I'm going to complete and execute this Ironman to the best of my ability, and I'm going to completely blow away my time from last year, which was 11 hours and 28 minutes. I'm going to completely destroy that time. I can promise you that.